to me.
Information, news, and entertainment on demand.
WSRadio.com.
Welcome back to SBA Radio for Small Business Advice with SBA Director Ruben Garcia, Small Business Guest Expert, and your host, Kaz Taylor, brought to you by CBeyond.net. Big solutions for growing your small business.
And this segment is brought to you by BizVidCommunications.com, leading producer of internet and other videos for businesses like yours. Well, if you're an entrepreneur, then franchising is a good option to consider. Mm-hmm. It's a way to actually kind of blend your skills with the skills and experience of somebody else.
That's right.
And kind of grow and go from there. I mean, there are a lot of wonderful franchising opportunities out there, and we have somebody we know you are absolutely going to love. If you've ever watched the Undercover Boss on CBS, you may have seen this person. Her name is Shelly Sun. She's a CEO and co-founder of Bright Star Care, and it's a premium home care and health care staffing company. And she's learned a few lessons about the grassroots of her company or any other company as it might relate to franchising as well. Shelly, good to have you. Are you with us, Shelly? We're going to try this again. But, you know, I had a chance to take a look at some of Shelly's Undercover Boss stuff. She was on the line and we lost her there. We'll get her back in just a second.
Technical difficulties.
I had a chance to watch one of the episodes in Undercover Boss, and Shelly was there, you know, as the quote unquote the new hire. And
new hire?
She had one of the staff members in an environment where there were kids running around, you know, and they were supposed to be caring for these youngsters, and these kids were all diaper age and just barely above, and there was a set of twins.
Yeah, so she learned what it was all about.
And so the guy was very excellent, and he said, "And here's what you do." And when you smell that smell,
you know what you got to do. You got to make the change.
That means it's time for the diaper change. And so she went through the whole process, and you know it's a real good thing for an employer to get a sense of what's going on with the employees, so you can be you can have apathy for that. And,
That's right.
And you can help, but also from a franchisor standpoint, you get to realize what's going on and the complexities of a franchisee.
Of what you're doing.
Yeah, and they don't, a franchisee is, you're kind of putting them into the water, and they don't really know what to do in that light. And so having been there and done that, you can really have compassion for a franchise, and know how to deal with that. We've got Shelly coming on the line. I see that we have.
You know that she was also selected as the International Franchise Association's Entrepreneur of the Year for 2009, and beyond that, she was selected as the Entrepreneur of the Year by the National Association of Women Business Owners back in 2006. So in the last 3 years, Bright Star has jumped to the Inc. 500, 5,000 rankings, moved to number 2,225 in 2007, number 181 in 2010.
Wow, that's a big jump.
And then last year, she first time that she hit the Franchise Fast 500 at number 152.
That's tremendous. We're going to find out a little bit more about franchising now. Shelly, are you with us?
I sure am. Thank you so much.
Oh, it's our pleasure. Had a chance to check out some of your CBS Undercover Boss segments. I had to laugh. How are you doing with dirty diapers?
Fortunately, my boys are 6 years old, so we're well past that stage.
Exactly. Well, we have a large audience of listeners who are in the small business and entrepreneurial realms, and so franchising may just be a good option, at least a worthwhile consideration. Tell us a little bit about franchising and how it might be a great deal for an entrepreneur, because you're heavily involved in the franchising mode, aren't you?
Absolutely. I mean, our perspective is, we had a very successful company-owned location from 2002 to 2004, and we're really wanting to see an opportunity for us to expand to more locations across the country. But, unless we were going to give up a large portion of our company to access financing, that would be difficult to expand on our own money. And so franchising just became a great way for us to partner with, other would-be entrepreneurs who have the passion and capital at a local level to replicate the business model. And so I think it's, something, at least for us, we kind of stumbled into. We had an opportunity to become investors in 2 hotels in 2004, and had really not thought about franchising outside of maybe a McDonald's. And as you start looking around, almost every single service and retail outfit or restaurant or hotel that you stay in, most of them are franchised. And so it really became a great way for us to think about franchising as a way to expand our business.
You know, one of the things that we're looking at is how you're doing it, how you're marketing, how you're doing the franchise business. But I guess the question is right now, somebody's listening, they're saying, what's in it for me, you know, and how do both the franchisor and the franchisee, you know, benefit from the unique business model that you have?
I think it is a great thing for both parties. I think, you know, to be a franchisee, you're in business, you know, for yourself but not by yourself. You're able to, you know, take a model that's been adjusted hundreds of times with all of the pain and progress that comes with, you know, retooling an existing model. And for the franchisor, you know, we're able to bring in fees from a franchisee to offset a lot of our past, current, and future costs and really, you know, leverage together. They don't have to recreate technology. They don't have to recreate marketing and trademarks. They're tapped into that for us. And so arguably they can hit the ground running a lot faster by being a franchisee than going it on their own.
And what are the typical critical components you need to have in place before you launch a franchise?
Well, I think you need a successful business, and so you'd want to see a small business owner like your audience, you know, already profitable in a single location, and ideally have taken an opportunity to expand at least to a second or third location, and in doing that have taken the opportunity to document all of what it took to create that second or third location. So you know the model can be replicated. And then, you know, we actually give a step-by-step guide in my book, Grow Smart, Risk Less, on exactly how you would go through the process to do a feasibility study financially to make sure that your business model can make money at the franchisor level, but also adapting it with the fees that a franchisee pays to make sure a franchisee can make money in the model as well. And then walks through what are the legal parameters that need to be in place before you franchise your business. How do you build the right team? How do you think about technology? And then ultimately, how do you select and train franchisees once you've made the decision and commitment to franchise?
Wow. Great. Well said. We're talking with Shelly Sun, CEO and co-founder of Bright Star Care. And one of the things I noticed here as we're talking about this, we're actually talking about two different sides of the aisle here. We're talking about a small business who might want to make their company into a franchise, and the other piece of the equation is an entrepreneur that may be listening that says, what franchises are out there that I need to pay attention to? So, I mean, it's both sides. So let me ask you this question about a franchisee. Do you, in your observation of things, do you have what you would consider a kind of a profile of what a successful franchisee might look like? Do they have to be very outgoing, outspoken, or are they, you know, are there some common denominators that you see that make successful franchisees?
We do, and I think it's true in many different models. I mean, I think there's, you know, no denying that being successful, you know, in any business or any career takes hard work. So, you know, an ability to be in it to win it, whatever that takes, and certainly in the first 2 years of owning a business or starting a business, you know, that's not for the faint of heart. So there's long hours, and the family has to be completely committed to what that's going to take. I think glass half full, positive attitude, and in the face of a lot of naysayers, you know, your entire family circle, some are going to be supportive and some are going to, you know, try to talk you out of owning or starting your own business or expanding an existing business. And so I think you just have to stay very passionate about the path and journey that you're on. So we see our franchisees being somewhat competitive, very goal-oriented, very driven, very positive, optimistic, but then also, you know, when rubber needs to hit the road, you know, they're willing to do the work and do what it takes 7 days a week to grow a successful business.
You know, Shelly, you've been very successful. You've franchised over 200 locations nationwide. You're doing a tremendous job. Obviously, you've grown it with the right people and the right tactics. What if somebody wanted to get hold of you, if they wanted to talk to you, because we only have a couple of minutes left, how would they get a hold of you? Where would they go? Is there a number? Is there a website?
Absolutely. We have a website called GrowSmartRiskLess.com that provides lots of resources for those that are looking to expand their business. A lot of webinars that we've actually developed, some resources that are on there, and they can access me through that website as well.
Oh, so it's Grow Smart, Risk Less. Now, if they wanted to contact you by, say, a call, a telephone, is there a number?
I think going through the website is probably the best way.
Okay. And in the minute that we have, Kaz and I usually sit down and we like to ask that somebody give us a nugget, a golden thought, something that you would want to tie this with a golden bow. What would you
help our small businesses?
To help our small businesses? Because we get 4 million listeners to WS Radio, so I think there's one or two that are probably right now listening to the words that you're going to speak in the next minute here.
I think the biggest lesson that I've learned, there's no I in team, and so it's about surrounding yourself with great people. And the big pivotal change that we made from slower growth to faster growth in 2008 was when we began hiring for personnel that were what we needed 2 years out versus what we needed today. You pay a little bit more for that, but as soon as you're hiring personnel that are the right level and caliber and really have seen businesses of the size we'll be in 2 years, we were able to stay on a much faster pace of growth. And that would be my words of wisdom to those that have businesses: is be willing to invest and hire those that can help you take your business to the next level. Think about where you want to be in 2 years and hire the people with the skill sets and the experience to help you get there.
So that might cost them just a little bit more to hire that higher quality of experience, but it will be worth it if you're looking to the future.
Yeah.
What we've seen. Absolutely.
Yeah. And I love that there is no I in team. I got to respell team again.
Ruben misspells it with an I sometimes.
I put an I sometimes. Thank you so
much.
Thank
you very much,
Shelly.
Shelly.
This is great
Shelly
information.
Sun.
Yes.
Shelly Sun, CEO and co-founder of Bright Star Care.